Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. After praising Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and sending infinite salutations, peace and blessings upon the best of creation, the beloved of Allah Almighty, the most honored one, the most revered one, the most beautiful one, the greatest one, the coolness to our eyes, the purpose of our lives, the reviver of our hearts and the awakener of our souls. None other than Sayyidina Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu ta'ala alayhi wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wa sallam. Allah Almighty has blessed us with many great blessings. One of the greatest blessings that Allah Almighty gave to man is time. We never realize what time is because our days are filled with so much of the dunya that sadly we have lost appreciation of this gift. And when a person begins to lack appreciation, qadr, in our language we call it qadr, qadr karna, appreciating. When somebody begins to lack appreciation for something, Allah Almighty takes that thing away from him. And what does Allah Almighty take away from time? Allah Almighty won't take time away, as this is the nizam of the world. This is the system the world is running on time. But when people begin to disrespect and not value time, Allah Almighty will take barakah away from time. There will be no barakah left in time. Brother Irfan mentioned that in the future there will be a talk held on the signs of the Day of Judgment. Those of you who have studied somewhat in regards to this Ashratu Sa'a, Alamatu Sa'a, whether they are Al-Kubra wa Sughra, major or minor signs, you will know that Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said towards the end of time, Allah Almighty will lift barakah from time. There will be no blessings left in time. And then Nabi alayhi salam explained this to the Sahaba. They said years will go by like months. Months will go by like weeks. Weeks will go by like days. And days will fly by like hours. And you won't even realize where time is going. And you will still be stood on the same spot as you was last year. You will still be in the same position. Nothing is improving. If anything, in today's day and age, brothers and sisters, we're getting worse. On the general perspective, but tell me, how many bad boys, how many lads are sitting in traffic on the A406 so that they can get to central London? They want to watch the fireworks. Like they've got nothing better to do in their lives. Like they want to go there, entertain themselves. How many lads? New Year's Eve bashes. We all know what I'm on about. Going to the nightclubs, drinking away till the new year begins. What a start. Brothers and sisters, I don't have a problem with non-Muslims doing this. But sadly, our own Muslim brothers and sisters will dress up on New Year's Eve. They will look bling. They will look stush. They will look dapper. They will look the part. He will do his hair up. He'll stand in the mirror for 2 hours, flicking his hair this way and that way, like he has no direction in life. If you want to know how directed a person is in life, look at his flick. I know. If you want to know how directed he is, look where his flicks are going. The man's got 10 flicks popping out of his head. He's in all directions. And if you got no hair, then you're alright. Eh? You see all these elder men here in their mid-40s, 50s, the Hajis that are sitting here, no hair, they lost direction in life. Life taught them mortgages too much. Cars, business, they've seen it all. Then they lose hair. Young people, look at them, spiked up hair, flick going here, there, everywhere. They're all over the place. Determine someone by the hairstyle. Don't judge someone. See, judging is not right. We shouldn't judge. But determine. You can take out, you can somewhat see. You see, we can only know a person according to the apparent. We don't know what's in his heart. Inna Allah alimun bizati sudur. Allah knows what's in the hearts. We don't know. I can only determine according to the external, what he has. If he looks the bad boy, immediately the perception is, the man's a bad boy. If she dresses with tight clothes, immediately the perception is, she has no respect for herself. If he's wearing jubba, immediately you think, the man's a Maulvi. If he's got a big beard, you think, don't go near him. You don't think the man's a good guy, you go, that's danger. Brother, this is the God squad walking. This is dangerous. These are perceptions. We as young people growing up, we used to see bearded lads come give da'wah, tabligh, whatever. And we used to think, brother, make an excuse quickly. This man's going to be 2 hours here and he's going to tell me the same thing my mum's been telling me. So double lecture on the same day. I never went to school, but I still got my lectures. I never went to school, but I still got my lecture. He's going to go on, brother, the fire of hell is going to be blowing in your face 70 times hotter. And I'm going to think, yeah, all right, no problem. Perception in it, it's in our mind. Going back to the point of time. Time is a gift Allah has given to man. There are 24 hours in the day. 60 minutes in an hour. 60 seconds in every minute. It's amazing numbers, isn't it? You know, when you look at time ticking by, every second that's gone will never come back. I can promise you that, brother. Every moment that's leaving your life will never come back to you. There's only one way forward. It's forward. There's no going back. Just forward. Tick tock, tick tock, tick tock. Gone. 1 minute, 2, 3. Every minute that passes us by, how do we spend that minute? Chalo, if you don't value minutes, every hour that goes by, how do you spend your hour? In a typical day in a teenager's life, he'll wake up at 7 in the morning, have some breakfast, put his uniform on, go to school, brush his teeth, go to school. 9 o'clock he starts till 3. That's 6 hours in the day he's educating himself. It's amazing, isn't it? 6 hours. And this is the routine of a child from nursery, unless he's doing half day, or say from year 1, all the way till year 11. That's what happens. I've been through that system, most of you guys have been through it. Year 11. Then if he was a brainy lad, clever sister, went to A levels. It extended from 6 hours, probably go down to 4, maybe even max 8. Because he went to library, studied, did all that. All this time, he's going there. When he comes home, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, gets home, has breakfast, runs straight to the mosque. 2 hours he'll do in the mosque. The 2 hours in the masjid will not influence him more than the 6 hours in school. The numbers don't add up, man. And the 2 hours that he gets in mosque, he doesn't learn that much as well. It's unfortunate. Our masajids have failed our systems. They failed us badly. You know what made the greatest civilizations in the past what they were? Education. That was the key. Knowledge. You know what they've done to us? The enemy, you know what he's done? He said, take the Quran out of his life. Take the hadith out of his life. Take these things out of his life and you watch. They will go downhill. They will become disunited. There will be no unity amongst these people. When there's no unity, we can make videos against the Prophet and they won't care. We'll burn a Quran and they won't care. This is what they... Look, how they have weakened us. We are blind and oblivious to what's happening in this world at this moment in time, brothers and sisters. It's a fact. Everyone's got this big hoo-ha, 2013's beginning. Man's going to have to chill out. Spoiling and throwing their lives away. You know this enemy that I'm talking about, Allah Almighty in the Quran talks about them. Allah Almighty in the Quran speaks about these people. People who entire aim is to weaken Islam. Shaitan wants to weaken Islam. The people of Shaitan want to weaken Islam. And to do that, they filled our time with useless things. That's what they've done. They've replaced the most valuable things in our lives with iPhones, iPads, MacBook Pros, PlayStation 3s, Xbox. Every lad sat here will know what a PlayStation 3 Xbox looks like. A laptop, a PC. He'll know. Because what have they done? From a young age, instead of holding the Quran in their hands, they're holding joypads. It's true, innit? You hold the Quran like this, 2 hands. What have they done? 2 hands you need to hold the joystick. FIFA 13, Call of Duty. What is it called, man? He doesn't know. Black Ops 2. This 2, that 2. Grand Theft Auto. Gran Turismo. Need for Speed. There's a need for speed. I know. What a title. There's a need for, look, the games have attractive titles. Call of Duty. What are you, a soldier? Call of Duty. Mom, I'm going on Call of Duty. Aye, putra. Tu barat sona likh raha hai. Call of Duty. Tu muh nahi to hota tha, Call of Duty chala gaya. Eh? You can't even wash your face and Call of Duty's come for you. Who's called you to duty? Brother, Call of Duty's from Allah. Anna. Real Call of Duty is from Allah. How many calls of duties have you neglected and failed, brother? Because the fake Call of Duty has taken your life. It's taken over your life. Amazing how these people work. How they want to take you away from the deen. Call of Duty. How many young people are hooked onto this game? You know, violence. Where do young people learn about AK-47s? About these magnums, shotguns, these super rifles, machetes, knives, grenades, rocket launchers. Brother, a young kid knows about all this. Tell me, what's polluted his mind? He grows up, he's violent-natured. Imam Sahib, mera putter violent hai. My son's a very violent lad. He's got anger management problem. You know, GBH, ABH. He's aggressive. I say, you know, when he was a kid, what did he used to play? Fight night. What did he used to play? Call of Duty. You know, Call of Duty is, what's the parental rating for that? Allahu Akbar. You know how many under 18s play that game? How many of your children play it? You've never thought about it, have you? Why is he so violent? Because when he comes from school, he puts on his PS3, Xbox. Take your mobiles off. He puts it on, and that's it. He's sat there. Hypnotized. Gone. You take something from him, he won't even realize. He won't even realize. Putter, band kar. Won't. Putter, band kar. Won't listen. 10 times you'll tell him. You know why? He's hypnotized. Shaitan's got him gripped. He's so gripped into this, so lost into this, that psychologically these images are now in his mind. When he goes to sleep, what does he dream? He's dreaming he's blowing things up in Afghanistan. Why? Psychologically these images are now registered inside him. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said when a child reaches the age of 7, tell him to read namaz. Our children reach the age of 7 and we get really happy. My son knows how to unlock my iPhone. What a miracle. He knows how to use the iPhone. We have so much fakhr. My putter knows how to play with iPhone. Subhanallah. Can your son read the kalima? Not got there yet. Wajasi. But he's got the iPhone in it. Look, mentality of parents today, man. Going back to the point of time. Time is a gift from Allah Almighty. Time is going by. Every second that goes by in our life will never come back. Every hour, every moment is a precious moment in a believer's life. For every second, every minute, Allah will ask you how you spent it. It's a reality, man. It's a fact. How you spent your time. Amazing, Allahu Akbar. Allah's blessed you on the New Year's Eve, the last night of 2012, that you are in the house of Allah Almighty. This is what he called productive time management. You are managing your time well. You're sitting here. Some of you have wudu, some of you don't have wudu. You've sat here 2-3 hours. Do you think Allah is going to destroy these deeds that you've earned? No. Allah said, Inna Allah la yudi'u ajral muhsinin. Allah is not going to destroy, is not going to put into vain the deeds of the muhsinin, the good doers. Sitting in the house of Allah Almighty is rewarding. In a nightclub and a pub, there's no reward. It's a sin. Here you are in the presence of angels. There you are in the presence of devils. Here you remember Allah Almighty. There you remember shaitan. Here you obey Allah. There you obey shaitan. Here you are pleasing Allah Almighty. There you are pleasing shaitan. Brothers and sisters, 2012 has gone. This time last year, it was the same thing. How many of us actually were in the house of Allah this time last year? Who spent New Year's? Now I'm not too much into this New Year Malaki. I'm more into Muharram being my New Year. I'm a Muslim. The Hijri calendar, Muharramul Haram, that's when my New Year begins. This is just some palaver, Gregorian calendar, Georgian calendar, that yes, the New Year. Take we find it valuable. You know, when you go to places like Saudi Arabia, Masr, Egypt, this has no value. value is Muharramul Haram, Safar, Rabiul Awwal, Rabiul Thani. These months, they are given more emphasis. But we are brought up in this culture. So it's a big thing. We've been brought up every year watching BBC News. And you imagining you're in London. We watch BBC News, 12 o'clock, we'll be awake. What a waste of time. How much time have we wasted in this year? How many wrongs have we done in this year? How many times have we disobeyed Allah Almighty this year? Because this year is something big for you, 2012, 2013. I'll go by that, not for Muharram. Just for your understanding. How much? I talk to myself here, I'm not exempt from this. Anything, I'm probably worse than most of you. Because people with knowledge, and I'm not saying I'm a man of knowledge, Allah tests them more, a lot more than the average man. Because He knows what's right and wrong. If he still does wrong, he's going to get punished hard. Because He knows right and wrong. Half of these lads here don't know right and wrong. They know right and wrong according to their own understanding. But for them, going to a shisha bar is right. His mentality and his teachings have told him, bruv, lining up to a shisha bar is good. Talking to a girl is fine. For him, it's fine. For Maulvis like me, it's wrong completely. For some people, it's not wrong. For him, where he earns his money or doesn't matter. Because his mentality, he's not clued up here. And if he thinks he's clued up, then why is he still a servant of the shaitan? A clever man is a servant of Allah Almighty. A foolish man is a servant of the devil. He's enslaved to his own ego. He's enslaved to his own desire. And sadly, we as Muslims have become enslaved to our own egos, desires and the shaitan. We are not slaves of Allah Almighty. If you were a true slave of Allah Almighty, then every moment of your life you would live in fear of Allah, knowing that He'll punish you. And then you will also live in hope of Allah's mercy, knowing that He could forgive you. You would live your life with this balance. You know, we neither have no hope nor fear. Sadly, we don't hope, we nor do we fear. We have become fearless. We think we've become so much in this bad boy mentality, we're fearless. Bruv, nothing can bring me down. I'm the man. I am everything. The I has killed us. The I has killed us. The I is a big thing. iPhone, iPad, the London Eye. The Eye is watching, Big Brother is watching. And the Scottish say, I. And the Punjabi say, I. But it's I in it. It's all the same thing, I. Bruv, take the I out of yourself. That's the key. You can take the I out of yourself, you've made it. You've done what was asked of you. I'll tell you a story about the awliyaullah. There was a great wali of Allah Almighty called Bishr Hafi, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayh. Bishr Hafi, rahmatullahi alayh, was asked by the people of Baghdad, tell us, how do you live? And Hazrat Bishr Hafi said, we live like the dogs of Baghdad. What do you mean? He said, if we get food, we thank Allah Almighty. If we don't get food, we are patient. So if we go 10 days without food, we will never complain, we will sit there patiently, depending on Allah. If we get food, we thank Him. When Hazrat Junaid Baghdadi was asked this question, Hazrat Junaid said, we live worse than the dogs of Baghdad. Said, how? Hazrat Junaid said, if we don't get food, we are patient. If we get food, we give it to the brother next to us. We don't eat that food. A dog, if he gets it, he'll eat it for himself. He'll never share it. The awliyaullah used to say, if we get it, it's not about me. It's about the brother next to me. So make him, how is he? That's what we used to do. We'd give it to them. Getting that I out of you is a big thing. And everything is I orientated. Me, myself and I. Movies have been made on this concept. Movies have been made on gangster concepts. And movie has been made on get rich or die trying. Many movies have been made on get rich or die trying mentality. Many songs have been written on the get rich or die trying mentality. Tupac spoke about it. Biggie talks about it. 50 Cent, Lloyd Banks, Drake, all these big bad voice singers, what do they talk about? Nonsense. Get rich or die trying. Get rich or die trying. And this mentality has now slowly gone into the Muslims. But it's all about getting rich. Money, money, money. Brother, you have money, you talk. When you've got money, you've got respect. If a rich man came in here, everyone would stand up out of respect. If a scholar of the deen came here, they don't know how to respect him. Why? Money has more respect. If you have a relative in your family who has money, you tend to appreciate him more than a relative who has no money. You go and you sit with him, you'll make him feel special because he's rich. He's a millionaire, bro. He's got it all. Man, he's milking the cow. Sickly. He's done it, he's made it. We are amazed by people with money. We are happy. We see them and we think, yeah man, he's made it. I need to do it. So what do? You got to get rich then. If you want to be considered out there, you've got to have the garms. To get the garms, you need money. You've got to have the car. To have the car, you need money. You've got to have the house. To have the house, you need money. All these materialistic things, it goes down to the dollar and dime. Goes down to money. Money. That's all it is. It's all about money. If you've got the money, then you've made it. Mal. Money. Money makes the world go round. Makes the world tick, that's what they say. You know, for him it's all about money. That's all he thinks about. How am I going to earn? Got a mortgage to pay. Got to do this. Got to do that. You know this money economical system, you know how it is? You know the 20-pound note has no value. It's paper. Did you know it's paper? Nothing. What is 20-pound note? It's paper. This costs nothing to make. It costs nothing to make. When it's made, we slap a value on it. It's a 40 quid. Then for that 40 quid to have value, you make paper. 20, 10, 5, 50. Then that paper, you make 10,000 of those. What happens? And you got money in it. Paper there. That paper slaps a price on this commodity. Halanke, this is worth nothing. Absolutely nothing. I could give this for free. But I could give it for £100 if I wanted to as well. It has no value. What has value? Tell me. What value does the dunya have? You're telling me these cars are valuable. What value does it have? Tomorrow if the economical system collapses, where's the value gone, brother? Where's the money gone? No value. It's paper. If it was valuable, if I burn it, what happens, bruv? Where's the value gone? That paper has no value. But we've become so enslaved by this paper. Paper has enslaved man. Amazing, isn't it? How weak has man become? You know the Rockefellers, Rothschilds, these big families, industries, the American. Go and read their history. How the central banking system was made. Make paper, slap values on things, spread it out. Who runs the system? Who's running this system? And mind you, every man who ever spoke about this system was shot afterwards. I wouldn't be surprised if I'm next on the hit list. But it's true. Open your eyes. What value is in that paper? I've got a bottle of cash here. Let me get it out. Get you licking your lips. Molvis are rich. Look, bottle of cash. Paper. What is this? Innit? Our mentality is it's everything. This makes the world tick. To get my car moving, petrol costs. Got to put paper there. Everyone has to work for this. Really, what value does it have? If tomorrow this runs out, does the world end? Someone tell me, answer me carefully. This week, if this run out, will the world end? So why? Why do you live like the world's going to end if I don't have no money? See the mentality, how they've brought us up. We have started to depend on this more than Allah. It's a fact. It's a fact. We have depended more on this. Now, I'm not a person who says, don't go out there, don't work. Just sit there and God will give you. Nobody is that great. I tell you that now. Nobody's iman's on that level. Very rarely. Who will sit home and say, direct marne wale. Pata hai na? Danger. A direct marne wale. Yeah, God's going to do it. I ain't moving. He sits there, nothing happens. I don't know if you maybe most of you are clocked it late. I don't want to mention who they are, what they are. You know who they are, innit? Oh, yaar, they wobble. Shall I give you more signs? Trousers are halfway up. They have shiny bald heads. No moustache. Big beards. And they say, believe in one Allah. Don't ask the Prophet. The Prophet can't give you nothing. You can't do nothing. No. Direct to Allah. Direct to Allah. Direct to Allah. Hazrat Sahab, tell me something. You fall ill. Mande ho gaye ho. Bimari ho gayi hai. Sira hi dard hai. Tang tut gayi. Some things happen to you. Why do you go to the doctor, man? Oh, yaar, go direct to Allah. Doctor Sahab ke? Which ajeeb tawheed that do you follow? Your tawheed teaches you, brother, don't ask anyone for help. Go direct to Allah. That's what their tawheed teaches them. I know I'm going slightly off. But a aham point hai na. This is important as well. We can't neglect the importance of our belief system. Understanding tawheed. It's a big thing, tawheed on the street, innit? Muwahideen, I believe in one Allah, brother. You can't ask anyone other than Allah for help. That's what they're saying. I've seen it written in their books, man. The same guy who's writing it, when he's fallen ill, he goes to Dr. Sahab, help me. The Dr. Sahab says, are you the one who wrote, don't ask anyone other than Allah? What am I? Am I God to you? No. So why are you coming to me then? Go and sit there, wait for direct help. But you see, this tawheed understanding is messed up. It's messed up. When you're ill, you go to the doctor and say, Dr. Sahab, help me. In reality, it's Allah who is helping you. There's no denying that. Hakiki madadgar. Hakiki madadgar. Actual helper is Allah Almighty. But the wasila is the doctor. There's a difference. Now when you're physically ill and you need to go to a physician and a doctor, Dr. Sahab, help me. Dr. Sahab cures you. And then when you are spiritually ill, when your heart's not beating right, you've got diseases like jealousy, the eyes inside you, me, mentality, when you've got hatred, anger, you've got envy, you've got hypocrisy, all these hidden ailments and diseases in your heart, who's going to help that? Hasn't Allah sent a cure for this as well? I go to Peer Sahab, I go to Ghaus-e Azam, I go to Sheikh Abdul Qadir Jilani, and I say, Huzur Ghaus-e Azam, help me, do something for me. Why do I ask him for help? Why don't I ask Allah directly? No doubt Allah Almighty can hear you. It's not that Allah Almighty can't hear you, He can hear everything. But why? Why do I still have to go there? If Allah can hear everything, then He can answer everything. True, isn't it? There's no denying that. Then why did the Sahaba go to the Prophet? Why didn't Allah Almighty's Nabi alayhi salam said, don't come to me, go direct? Oh yar, why did they go, man? Tell me. Tell me. If it was shirk, the Nabi alayhi salam would say, don't ask me, ask Allah. Don't ask me, ask Allah Almighty. But Nabi alayhi salam was teaching them that in reality you are asking Allah Almighty. But when Allah Almighty, you get to Him, you go through something. When Allah gives you something, it comes through means. Everything that's come to you has come through a middle way. Now you want to go back direct? Quran came to you, not directly, brother. Came through the Prophet ﷺ. Islam came to you, to the Prophet ﷺ. Iman came to you, to the Prophet ﷺ. Allah Almighty came to you through the Prophet ﷺ. And now you're telling me you're going to go get back to Allah without the Prophet ﷺ? Tell me how you're going to do that. Tell me. When the ayat of the Quran. You know, Allah Almighty said, Ud'uni astajib lakum. Ask me, I will give you. I will answer for you. Allah said, ask me. Then in another ayat of the Quran, Allah said, وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِ عَنِّي فَإِنِّي قَرِيبٌ. وَإِذَا سَأَلَكَ عِبَادِ عَنِّي. When my servants ask you, Allah said, when my servants ask you, tell them I am close. Who are the servants asking? Who are they asking? The Prophet ﷺ. What are they asking about? Allah Almighty. Allah Almighty says, oh my Prophet, you tell them in return. Why didn't Allah tell them directly? Allah said, you tell them in return that I am close to them. But let it come from you. When they asked about Allah Almighty, what did Allah say? Allah didn't say, I am one. Allah Almighty said, Qul, oh my beloved, you tell them, I am one. Allah didn't tell them directly. We know Allah is one because Nabi alayhi salam told us. And if Nabi alayhi salam is the wasilatul wasail, the greatest helper, greatest middle way to Allah Almighty, then why are you leaving that and trying to be a hero and go yourself? Anyways, going back to that point. So you find people, you know, you can't just sit there, you have to go out and work. I'm not denying that. You have to go out, work, earn money, earn halal. Sadly, people have turned to haram. It's a fact. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam told the ummah that every nation, inna likulli ummatin fitnatun. Every nation had a trial. Wa fitnatu ummatihi al-mal. And Nabi alayhi salam said, the trial of my nation, the test of my nation will be money. Money will trial my nation. Mal will take them and misguide them. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said to the Sahaba, I don't fear anyone will commit shirk. My ummah will never commit shirk. How clear is the Nabi alayhi salam saying this? My ummah will never commit shirk. And then you find people who say he is a mushrik. Who's right and who's wrong then? Is Nabi alayhi salam right? Or is this person who claims that we are mushrik right? Who do you say is right? Nabi alayhi salam. Because Nabi alayhi salam said, my ummah will never commit shirk. Nabi alayhi salam will never be wrong. That person is no doubt wrong. They said it clearly. My ummah will never commit shirk. But I fear. Nabi alayhi salam said, my fear is that my people will begin to compete with one another as to who can get the richest. They will fight with one another over money. There will be competition on the street. Next month's driving a car, next month wants a bigger car. Next month's got a big house, next month will do anything to get a big house. Mentality, I've got to be better than him. Better than my family. This mentality, that's what's destroying our minds today. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam spoke about this to the Sahaba. You know, money, there's a proverb that my sheikh once told me. They said money can be happiness if it's spent on other people. Money can be happiness when you spend it on other people. Because when you spend it on the other person, it brings a smile to his face. And you want to see the other brother smile. You want to see your sister smile. And when you see them smile, look at how much happiness this mal and daulat has brought. Money isn't entirely a bad thing. It gets you through life. Just as we need water, air, we need money. But when money becomes your life, that's a problem, brother. And subconsciously, that's what's happening. Not consciously. Everyone consciously sitting here knows money is nothing. I've explained to you this, it's nothing. I've mentioned that. You would think about that now. But subconsciously in the back of your mind, you'll think, Imam Sahib, yaar, I still got a mortgage to pay. It doesn't change nothing by you saying this. I still got to pay my mortgage. That's what we think. Subconsciously, it's in your mind. Why do you go out and work 8 hours a day? Why? Why do you go out and work 8, 9, 10 hours a day? Why do you do it? Because you need to put money on you need to put food on the table. Food costs. You need to pay for your bills. Bills cost. So you need to work. In the Prophet ﷺ's time, this wasn't the case. In Nabi ﷺ's time, there was no economical system or structure like this. What had value was gold. Gold had value. You know, gold and silver had value. Where's the gold and silver today? This ain't gold, this is paper. Where's the gold and silver? You know, Gaddafi, what did he want to do? He wanted to change it. When he wanted to do that, what did they do? They popped the old geezer. I know, they killed him. Because you're challenging the central banking system, the interest-based system, the system that sucks you dry and makes you a slave of it. It's a fact. We become slaves to that system. We can't do nothing but to go through this system. It's a fact, isn't it? When our elders came to this country, they came here as economical migrants. When they found that there's so much ease in this life, in UK, they brought their whole family over here. We are now 3rd, 4th generation children. It's in our blood, our system. We can't live without wearing Gucci and Armani. That's how we've been brought up. Now, if for you to change that mentality, brother, I'm not telling you not to wear Gucci and Armani. I'm asking you to change your mentality, bro. Change the mentality. Stop thinking like them. Become your own person. Become a servant of Allah Almighty. This is garments. What is garments? Today they're here, tomorrow when you're buried, you're only wearing 2 sheets. Where's your garments gone, brother? Where's it gone? Tell me. Today you bowl around in the biggest cars, tomorrow you will be in a coffin. Tomorrow people will have to carry you. You'll have no strength left in yourself. Next man will carry you. Today you talk like you are everything. Tomorrow where are you going to talk? Nobody can hear your voice no more. Where's your voice gone? Life is short, brother. Very short. People die every moment. The turn of the year, millions will be born, millions will die. It's true, isn't it? Millions will be born, millions will die. Your time will come, my time will come. 2012 is going, 2013 is about to start soon. And we are all in this palaver. Okay, New Year's coming. What New Year? Every day is another day. For us, there is no celebration of a new year and an old year and this year and that year. You're a Muslim, for God's sake. You're a Muslim. Think like a Muslim. Stop thinking like those who don't give you no good. If you are a Muslim, for you, every moment is precious. Every moment means the world to you. Because you know that moment that's gone will never come back. Oh, happy birthday, one more year you live. I say 1 more year is decreasing. Another day gone. Because the end has been written. The end of your life has been written. It's determined. Allah has written that. Now every time that's passing is getting closer to that, not further away. You're getting closer to your end. How are we getting closer to it? How are we spending it? Brothers and sisters are getting lashed out there in nightclubs and pubs at this moment in time. Bopping to music. This is the reality out there. Our own Muslim brothers and sisters have been killed in Syria, Egypt, massacres. Look around the world what's happening. And look at us living lavish. The Prophet ﷺ's honor is coming under attack. This is what's happened in 2012. Syria, Egypt, political turmoil in our Muslim countries. Look at the state of Pakistan's politics system. Look at all this that's happened in this last year. And people think, yeah, another year's gone by, New Year's beginning. If you're a believer in New Year's resolutions, what's your resolution? Tell me. If you're a drug dealer, brother, stop dealing drugs. Justify for me. One man, he's a sick dude. He says, I'm selling it to non-Muslims, so it's fine. I'm giving it to Gori and that. It's fine. Now, how do you manage to justify that to me, brother? It's not a non-Muslim, innit? Non-Muslim, I can do it to them. What about when a non-Muslim gives it to your own sister? And he thinks the same way about you. Why don't you tell me? Why is it different then? Nah, bro, that's different. Isn't that a human? Isn't that someone's daughter? Doesn't she have a life? And you're trying to justify it because she doesn't believe in the same thing you believe. How much belief do you have? You call yourself a Muslim. You're trying to justify that. Nobody can justify dealing drugs. You can't justify it. Give me a justification. Even if you have got to a point, the worst thing, the lowest of the low, there might be an exemption, but no. That's haram. It's qat'an haram. Drinking alcohol. How many alcoholics will you find that are Muslims? They love drinking vodka, Jack Daniel. They love these drinks. They can't live without them. Why? Something wrong with water? Don't you find it tasty enough? Put Robinsons inside it, brother. Make your own halal tequila. Don't get no vodka and Boost and Jack Daniel and all this and mix it and think, yeah, you're some kind of bartender. You ain't no bartender. You ain't. So why? Mentality in it. He wants to be cool. The boys are doing it, I'm going to do it. He's a gangster, I'm going to be a gangster. He's a fool, you be a fool. He's an idiot, you're going to be an idiot. He's a drunk and jumps off a cliff, what are you going to do? Yeah, happy days, bro. Let's do it. Are you going to do the same thing? You're not going to do the same thing. Because you got a brain in it. There's a certain cut-off point. What's your cut-off point? What's the limit that you will get to? Tell me. What's your limits? Do you have a limit? We don't have a limit. Imams have no limits. He thinks he's gangster by saying, I have no limits. He thinks he's a bad boy by saying, I have no fear. She thinks she's something cool and precious. I don't care. I'm not going to wear a scarf. I don't need to wear a scarf. Make a New Year's resolution. You're going to dress properly. Why? Why do we say to sisters, wear a scarf? People don't look at the wisdom. People don't want to understand this concept. They don't want to. No doubt, Allah has put immense beauty inside the woman. Immense amount of beauty. And Allah Almighty has made it a law that they cover their beauty. When this beauty becomes exposed, then watch what happens in society. We live in a society where the women expose their beauty. It's a fact. It's a fact. You see a woman with the hair out, ooh, she's blown me away. Damn. She's from next thing, man. All the adverts come into your head. The Pantene Pro V's. Head and Shoulders. You smell the... What sprays do they wear? I don't know what sprays they wear. Chanel? Chanel? Don't. Oh, Siddhi Bhavana. You must have a wife or a sister who's, who wears it. Someone will know, innit? Don't chaki gaye sare. Apu laenge khulle. You can wear it yourself, but buddiye tu na laya. Oh, tu la se te kam kharab ho gaya. You wear it, it's gone wrong. You can wear your jupon gumpol golti, oh, she can't wear it, Aye. Tu the kamal kar deta, yakin kar. You killed it, you have. See, she can wear it, you can't wear it. Or you can wear it and she can't wear it unless she's wearing the trousers. The married men know what I'm on about. In one country, there's only one prime minister, isn't there? This country is a bit weird. They've got two, one Naib and one David Cameron and Mr. Nick Clegg. There's a different story, joint coalition parliament. That's a different story. But in general, you always have one leader. When you have two leaders, three leaders, arguments occur. In our Islamic family values, there's one leader. And the one that's the deputy, they work hand in hand together. It's the nucleus. When you have the mother and the father both thinking they are leaders, the children are going to think, who shall I follow? Which leader's right? It's true, innit? It's common sense. Imagine you have two kings in one country. One king says, I want to paint that wall green. The other one says, I want to paint it blue. They're going to be arguing all day. So to make decisions, there's one. But to make that decision, you need to talk to the next one. Innit? How many domestic violence issues are there? How many sisters and mothers are being abused out there? Are treated like dirt in their houses. It's a fact. Massive issue. So many sisters have said, Imam Sahib, talk about this issue. Come out with this issue. And I'm telling you, 2012 turning to 2013, how many of us have seen our mothers, sisters, daughters being abused? Whether it's verbal, physical. Justify it to me, brother. That you can raise your hand to your own mother. Or you can raise your hand to your wife. Justify it. Tell me it's allowed. Never did Nabi alayhi salam raise their hand to their wives. Never. Sayyidah Aisha radiallahu ta'ala anha said, Nabi alayhi salam never raised their hand to any child or any one of their wives. Anyone, not even their slaves that they were freed. The only time Nabi alayhi salam raised their hand was when they were in jihad in the way of Allah. That's the only time. Never. What kind of Muslim are you that beats your own wife up? Tell me, justify it to me, brother. How many sisters out there had lives have we destroyed? How many women who get married with hope and next month's a drug dealer, next month's an alcoholic? Don't you have no feelings for your wife? Your children, you go out there, earn haram, and you think you can come home and feed your own son that haram money? You think it's allowed? Justify it to me. The Sahaba were so strict on this issue. Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, one day they ate something that was unlawful for them. I think it didn't even belong to them. It was someone else's property. When they found out that it wasn't theirs, and it wasn't allowed for them, Sayyidina Abu Bakr as-Siddiq put their fingers into their mouth, and they vomited everything back out. He said, Ya Abu Bakr, why? Why did you vomit everything out? He said, because it was unlawful for me, haram for me. And every haram morsel that will go into my body, the fire of Jahannam will burn there. Look at the iman of Sayyidina Abu Bakr Siddiq. And look at us. Look at how we are. We've lacked fear in Allah Almighty. So it's a fact. We try to justify our poverty by doing haram and earning haram. Whether it's fraud, whether it's insurance scams, whether it's robbing someone. Allah Almighty in the Quran says, وَلَا تَأْكُلُوا أَمْوَالَكُمْ بَيْنَكُمْ بِالْبَاطِلِ. And do not consume your money amongst yourselves falsely. Abdullah bin Abbas radiyallahu anhuma, when commentating on this verse, said there are two ways. Allah Almighty's Nabi alayhi salam's cousin brother Abdullah bin Abbas said, do not earn your money through haram. One is through lying. You know these dodgy claims you make, justify it's halal. Someone's claimed, crashed into him, Boom. Oh, whiplash hoya, whiplash. Foreign claim maarni hai. Yeah man, go whiplash. There's no scratch on the car, brother. How did you manage to get whiplash? Easy claim in it. No claim. How does it go? No win, no claim. Fee claim, jo bhi hai na? No win. No, there's another saying, in one of my talks I mentioned it. Don't delay, claim today. Don't delay. Look at that. How catchy. When you see the advert, don't delay, claim today. Don't delay. You basically, what they're saying, don't delay, destroy yourself today. That's what they're saying. That's what they're really saying. Don't delay, destroy yourself today. Why? Just a bit of money. I mentioned to you, this has no value. In reality, it's nothing. The most valuable thing in the end is your iman. It will hold value. However, this, they say it keeps the world ticking. When this will end, the world will still tick. What ticks the world is Allah Almighty. Not mal and dolat. Mal and dolat's here today, gone tomorrow. One guy, so rich, everything. Mus'ab bin Umair, Sahabi Rasul. Mus'ab bin Umair radiyallahu an had everything. His father was minted. Lived in a mansion in Makkah Mukarramah. Wore the best garments of that time. The best footwear. Everything Mus'ab bin Umair had. Radiyallahu ta'ala anhu. Hazrat Mus'ab bin Umair used to walk in the streets. Nabi alayhi salam would be sat with the Sahaba and they would say, look how rich this boy is. When Hazrat Mus'ab bin Umair became Muslim, 19 years old, Hazrat Mus'ab bin Umair gave everything up. When Nabi alayhi salatu salam spread Islam to Medina Munawwara, you know who they sent to Medina Munawwara? The rich boy Mus'ab bin Umair. Mus'ab, go there and teach them about our deen. Hazrat Mus'ab bin Umair used to look like Nabi alayhi salam. Top to bottom resembled Nabi alayhi salam. Whenever Hazrat Mus'ab bin Umair used to walk, Nabi alayhi salam would say to the Sahaba, do you know how rich this boy is? He has it all. In the battle of Uhud, in the midst of this battle, Sayyidina Mus'ab bin Umair was killed. Mus'ab bin Umair had been martyred. A rumor went flying around on the battlefield, that alayyazu billah, Nabi alayhi salam has been killed. Because the Hazrat Mus'ab bin Umair resembled Nabi alayhi salam so much. So much resemblance. Sahaba thought, Nabi alayhi salam has passed away, nothing's left now. Allahu Akbar. Hazrat Mus'ab bin Umair radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, when they passed away, it's narrated, they didn't have enough money to purchase their own kafan. The same guy, Sahabi of Rasulullah salam, who had everything. And when they left this dunya on the battlefield, Nabi alayhi salam said we had to get leaves to cover the feet of Mus'ab bin Umair. There was not enough clothes on him. You're all going to die a poor life. It's a fact. We will die poor. A rich man is who? Who has the good deeds. The poor man is who? He has all the mal and daulat, but he has no good deeds. Nabi alayhi salam said on the day of Qiyamah, there will be people who will be known as the bankrupt men. Abba said, Ya Rasulullah, manil muflis? Who are these bankrupt people? Nabi alayhi salatu salam said, do not think the bankrupt one is he who doesn't have no mal and daulat, no dirham and no dinar. Nabi alayhi salam said the bankrupt person is he who will come on the day of resurrection with mal. He will come with his zakat. He will come with his salah. He will come with hajj. All the good deeds he will have. by the end of his reckoning, he will have no good deed to his name. That's a bankrupt man. He said, Ya Rasulullah, how? Why? Nabi alayhi salam said, because he didn't treat people right. He didn't know how to talk to people. He used to disrespect. Allah Almighty didn't look at his prayers. Allah Almighty looked at how he was with people, how he behaved with people. This is what Allah Almighty will look at. How you talk to your mother and father, how you talk to your brother and sister. How many arguments have you had with your mother in 2012? How many arguments have you had with your father in 2012? How many times have you swore at your brother and sister in 2012? How many times have you sworn in 2012? There's a big palaver in it. 2012, 2013 is coming. Just look back and ponder over this last year of your life. How many deeds good and how many deeds bad you have done. Where you have gone in life. It's a fact. Brother, life's very short. It's a fact. Life is too short. You only live once in it. YOLO. You only live once. Now you live twice. You don't live once. You live once here, you live once in the next world. You will have to stand in front of Allah Almighty. You will have to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And Allah Almighty will ask you one of 5 things. I gave you life, what did you do with it? I gave you youth, how did you spend it? You earned money, where did you earn your money from? Abu Hurairah radiallahu anhu used to say, I prefer to eat dust in my mouth than to eat one morsel that is haram. Because I will never touch haram. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, I'll put my money away. 2012 last sin hai, Nick Mullah's money on that. Aye, Mulvi. And then he goes, Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam, Allahu Akbar. So many things they said to the Sahaba in regards to money. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam said, whoever doesn't care where he earns his money from, Allah Almighty doesn't care through which fire of Jahannam, which gate of the fire of Jahannam Allah enters him. Allah doesn't care. You didn't care where you took your money from. And you want Allah Almighty to care where He's going to send you? Allah will not care about him who didn't care about where he earned his money from. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, whoever does Hajj, bimalin haramin, with haram mal and dolat, haram money, and he stands on there and he says, Labbaik Allahumma labbaik. You know what Allah Almighty says? There's a voice that calls out and said, La labbaika wa la sa'daik. Mardudun. La labbaika wa la sa'daika hajjuka. Mardudun alayka. There's no labbaik, no sa'daik for you today. The hajj you have performed has been rejected by Allah Almighty. Why? Because the money that he went to hajj with, umrah with, was haram. Amazing, isn't it? Allah Almighty wouldn't accept no good deed. Hazrat Sufyan al-Sawri radiyallahu ta'ala anhu, Hazrat Sufyan al-Sawri used to say, whoever earns something haram, man anfaqa al-harama fi ta'ah, whoever earns haram doing a good thing for a good reason, it is like he is washing his clothes with bad water. He's washing his clothes with urine. Look, that cloth is clean. It's pak, it's halal. But what is he using to clean it? Something haram. He is doing something good but earning haram. He's doing something bad, earning haram by using the name of good. Today, how do we define that? He grows a beard and deals drugs. How many drug dealers will you find with beards? Justifying it. I got a beard, I read my namaz. You read your namaz for yourself, but when you shot that skunk and weed and cocaine, heroin, you're killing next man off. Are you telling me it's a good thing? Brother, sort your head out. You can't be right, man. Your mentality is wrong. Beard, Walthamstow, Ilford, Barking, how many places? I don't even want to go Bradford. Man, Bradford's full of it. You see them, big beards, and shotting skunk and weed, eh? Allahu Akbar. What's the state the world has come to? Trying to disguise, Trying to show he's a good boy. Sisters wearing a hijab, disguising herself. She goes off and does haram with someone. Why are you disguising yourself for, man? It's a fact, it's happening today, man. Sisters are doing this. We are deceiving ourselves. We're fooling ourselves. Allah Almighty deep down knows what man thinks. But we're fooling ourselves, man. We're lying to ourselves. Why are you lying to yourself for? If you can't do it, don't do it. Don't pick and choose, you know what, I'll be a bit of this or a bit of that. It's true, isn't it? Then you find, Hazrat Sufyan as-Sawri said, how can you purify this pure cloth with something haram? How can you do it? Nabi alayhi salatu wasallam, then Hazrat Sufyan as-Sawri said, وَذَنْبُ لَا يُكْفَرُهُ إِلَّا الْحَلَالِ. How can you do something bad? You know, the sin can only be removed, can be compensated except with something good. If you do a guna, do something good. If you do a sin, do something good. And then you will find the return. You will find it will be purified. But if you're doing something good and thinking you're going to compensate it with something bad, brother, you're wrong. You lost your mentality. Nabi alayhi salatu salam said, no one will enter Jannah. No, that man will not enter Jannah who in his body there will be haram. He eats haram. We walk into Nando's, KFC, stun their chickens. And oh, haram in it. You find some of them, they'll take any meat. I said, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, halal ho gaya. Oh, dua par hi hai na. They'll take the meat, they'll blow over it, Bismillah, Allahu Akbar, and say it's halal. People have tried that, justifying that to me. You know, those who are black and white, do I have to describe them again to you? You know, those who are literalists. They take the Quran literally. I'll tell you a funny story, yeah. There was one guy, he wanted to debate a scholar. And he says, you know, you guys, you Sunnis, because you guys add too much makkan to everything. You add too much into it. You add this to it and that to it, and you go into it too much. It's black and white. What Allah says in the Quran, that's what it is. Allah said the Prophet's human, that's it, he's human. Don't add nothing, don't explain. That's how they think in it. He says you Sunnis add too much to it. Now the guy who was saying this, he was blind. He was blind. Allah Almighty in the Quran said, whoever's blind in this dunya, he will be blind in the akhirah. And wa adalla sabila, he's misguided. He said, Maulvi Sahab, you're blind. The Quran said, whoever's blind here, he'll be blind in the akhirah. And he's gumrah. That means you are blind here, you will be blind on the day of judgment, and you're misguided. He goes, no. He goes, no, this is what it means. He goes, unkun makhan landa hai. Who's adding it now? Who's trying to explain it? Take it literally now, go on. He goes, no, this means whoever's blind in the iman, whoever's a kafir here will be a kafir there. Because now you're explaining it to me. Now you want to explain the Quran to me. One hand, you're a literalist. You take it as it is. And now you want to go delve into its meaning. Brother, stick to one opinion. If you're going to be a literalist, stick to being a literalist. Don't pick and choose what suits you. One guy, he read a hadith. You know, today you find these people, they read these Bukharis in English. And they think they're some kind of muhaddises. They take the translations, carry it around in colleges and universities. Look, akhi, says it here. Look at the footnote, akhi. His throat goes when he says, akhi. He says, akhi, look at this. This Maulvi Sahab, he read a hadith. The hadith was that Nabi alayhi salam did tawaf on a camel. Bande da putar kehanda hai ki aaj main bhi ऊंट पर तवाफ करना है. आयो पुत्रा, तू तो कमाल कर देता है. सुन्नत है ना. He goes, sunnat, I'm gonna go and do it. He said, ठीक है, जा पुत्र कर. Maulvi Saab's a literalist. He got his ऊंट, got to Makkah Sharif. Everyone's looking at, what's this guy doing, man? Hey, what's this guy doing? He goes, मैं हदीस पढ़ी है ना. वो मैं हदीस पढ़ी है ना, बुखारी शरीफ में मौजूद है. ठीक है, जा करो. Sat on his camel. Went on his camel, started doing tawaf around the Kaaba. Camel needed a wee. Allah's created the camel system that when it wees behind, backward. Now he's doing tawaf. There's a marble floor. Or in that time there wasn't marble. And people are walking behind him doing tawaf as well. He's some big timer. He goes, yeah, doing it on a camel. I read the Prophet did it on a camel. I'm going to do it. They said, Yar, what are you doing, man? The camel's been 2 circuits have gone around the Kaaba. Third one, the camel wants to let it, number 2. Wants to do a number 2. Camel ain't going to stop for no one. You don't care who sat on him. Went for it. On the 4th circuit, camel slipped on his own thing. Maulvi Sahab went flying that direction. Camel went that direction. They go, Maulvi Sahab, sunnat puri hogi? Hogi ya sunnat. Bariya sunta karne ho. मैं कुरान में से सुन्नत पढ़ी, हदीस पढ़ी है ना. सुन्नत पूरी होगी. तो तवाफ हो गया. होया ही नहीं. 4 हो गए थे, कोई कम नहीं हुआ. He's done 4, it didn't do it. Then they go, Maulvi Sahab, तुसां क्या पढ़या है? What did you read? He says, I read this. So did you understand it? He says, no. He says, come here. You've read it but not understood it. I'm going to read it to you and make you understand it now. You know when this occurred? When Nabi alayhi salam was performing the final Hajj. And 124,000 Sahaba did Hajj with them. And there was such a big crowd doing tawaf around the Kaaba. That Nabi alayhi salam wanted to teach the Sahaba what to read at what point. Like you have Rukne Yamani, Rukne Iraqi, different Rukns, Hajr Aswad. You read this dua here, this dua here, this dua. And for everyone to see Nabi alayhi salam, they did it on a camel. That's the first thing. The second reason, any animal Nabi alayhi salam sat on, out of honor and respect, never urinated. Who are you? Because I didn't understand that. See, reading hadith is one thing. Understanding hadith is a complete different thing. Oh, everyone can read a hadith, but not everyone can understand the hadith. I can tell you all these ahadith, what do you understand? This is why to understand the deen you have to go to the scholars, not to Sheikh Google. I'm Flana Sheikh and Flana Sheikh. No. The deen isn't a joke, brother. It's not a joke. You can pick and choose from who you want. One guy, he wanted to prove that Nabi alayhi salam has no power. And you know what Katya misal he gave? He gave the worst example. He goes, I'm going to prove to you that the Prophet can't do anything. He can't help you, he's dead. Because I'm going to prove it. I don't want to mention the name of this man, because I don't want to offend anyone who follows him. Afterwards, if you want me to tell you, I'll tell you. Maulana Ashraf Ali Thanvi Sahab mentions this in his book. I'll mention that much. There was a donkey nearby, Koti. Went to the donkey, he had a danda with him. He had a stick with him. And he said, I'm going to prove to you, my stick has more power than the Prophet's name. He says, watch. He says, Khotiye, khadi ho ja. Get up. Nabi alayhi salatu wassalam ke sadke wasile se khadi ho ja. Khoti na khadi ho hai. He said, I ask you by the name of the Prophet, stand up. Hundreds of people are watching this. He's trying to prove the Prophet's name has nothing. And he goes, look, I've taken the Prophet's name, the donkey hasn't got up. Now I'm going to use my danda, my stick. And watch how I get this camel. 2 smacks on the camel or the donkey, and the donkey stood up and he said, look, my stick has more power than the Prophet's name. Look at how he's trying to prove this. There were many stupid ones there. There's a clever one there. He said, Hazrat Sahab, come here. I'll tell you. Come here. He said, I'm going to take the name of Allah and I'm going to ask this donkey to get up. He said, I pick a qasam by Allah's name, donkey khadi ho ja. Get up. Donkey wouldn't get up. He said, now I'm going to prove to you that this stick has more power than the name of Allah. When he said that, you lot haven't understood. What was he trying to prove? He's trying to prove that you're giving this example to prove the Prophet's name has no power. I used the name of Allah, the donkey didn't stand up. There's no name greater than the name of Allah. It still didn't stand up. What are you going to say? Allah's name has no power? Are you going to say Allah's name has no power? Of course it has power. What does it prove? Nothing. If you use Allah's name and the donkey didn't stand up, are you going to say Allah's name has no power? Tell me who's going to say that. Is there anyone here who believes Allah's name has no power? But the donkey didn't stand up. So what does that prove? What does that prove? You don't know what it proves, do you? What does it prove? It proves if Allah wants the donkey to stand up, Allah will make it stand up. There's a wisdom inside there. A wisdom that me and you don't understand. Because that was mentioned, this name was mentioned, it doesn't prove anything about his Aqidah. If anything, it proves our Aqidah. He goes, yeah, well, I'll prove to you. You know your Peer Sahibs that are in their graves? They can't do nothing. Look, people go to their darbars and they take off these clocks. They go to their darbars, they steal there. If Peer Sahib had power, why didn't he stop them? I said to him, Hazrat Sahib, people come to the house of Allah and steal. Allah doesn't stop them from stealing. Are you going to say Allah has no power? You can't say that. Allah has the power, but Allah knows what He's doing. Awliyaullah have the power. Allah's given them the power. Allah's given this power to them. But if they don't stop it, it doesn't mean they don't have the power. There's a wisdom inside there. There's a wisdom that me and you don't understand. And that's how we understand these masail. People try to misguide people by giving them these kind of examples. They say, look, the Prophet has no power. Allah, this has no power, that has no power. They say, if the Prophet could guide everyone, why didn't he guide Abu Jahl? Good question, isn't it? We believe the Prophet can guide anyone. Why didn't the Prophet guide Abu Jahl? Why didn't he guide? Alayhi salatu wassalam. Why? Because Nabi alayhi salam only guides who Allah wants to guide. Nabi alayhi salam will never guide anyone that Allah doesn't want guided. Nabi alayhi salam's raza mandi is the raza of Allah Almighty. Nabi alayhi salam only does what Allah Almighty wants. Nabi alayhi salam will never do something that Allah doesn't want to do. Nabi alayhi salam will never compete with the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. This is what the awliyaullah, when they give you to the will of Allah Almighty. They will never go against this. These are important points to understand. Oh, you can't ask anyone for help other than Allah. You can't go to anyone other than Allah. You know, there was a guy, you know the example I'll give you. Ma said to Putter, Dudh dekhna hai. Literally listening. Said, Putter, Dudh dekhna hai. Look at the milk. Putter is looking at the milk. When the mother said, Putter, look at the milk. Mother has gone. Dog came, drank the milk. Mom said, ਪੁੱਤਰ ਦੁੱਧ ਕਿੱਥੇ ਗਿਆ? ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਮਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਹਿਦਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਦੁੱਧ ਤਖਣਾ ਹੈ ਤਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਤਖਣਾ ਰਿਹਾ. You said look at it, I was looking at it. Allahu Akbar. Then it was said to him, Putter, I didn't say look, I didn't mean literally. What I meant was look after it. Or dekhbhal karni hai. But he took it literally. These people take the Quran literally. They read it once, that's it. The Prophet's like me and you, literally. The Prophet said, I don't know the knowledge of the unseen. Literally take it. That means the Prophet doesn't know what's going to happen tomorrow. These people are trying to misguide you. Watch out for people that have this. And now, inshallah al-aziz, I want to conclude my talk. I've gone on over the limit. The brothers are waiting for the Mawlid as well. They will be doing nasheeds in the praise of Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. The final point I'm going to say to you, alhamdulillah, all of you have sat here, enjoyed today's talk. I hope you've learned many things as well. In relation to your Aqidah, you've learned many things in relation to life as well. Life is very short. The only guarantee in life you have is death. And you could die at any moment, any time, anywhere, any place. We don't know when we will die. The final few moments of this year, we should spend in the praise of Rasulullah sallallahu. As Muslims, this is what we should do. Wallahi, I swear by Allah, how fortunate are you people today, sisters and brothers, that you are in the house of Allah, and there are so many that are misguided out there. Count yourself lucky, and make a niyat, your New Year's resolution. Make this resolution that you're going to do sincere tawbah. You're going to cry and repent to Allah Almighty. You're going to say, oh Allah, whatever sins I've done in this last year, please forgive me. I've had many brothers message me something that I want to share with you. They always message me and said, Imam Sahib, I've done too many sins. Will Allah ever forgive me? He always says, I've had so many lads, even sisters, I've done so many sins, Imam Sahib. So many sins. Will Allah ever forgive me? Will He ever forgive me? That's what this lad, that's all he's thinking about. Will Allah ever forgive me? Imam Sahib, guarantee that for me. I can't guarantee nothing. But I can tell you this much in the Quran and through the ahadith. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, even if man had committed so many sins that they filled the entire earth till the skies, from east to west, and he sincerely repented to Allah Almighty, Allah Almighty will forgive him. Allah will forgive him. Allah will forgive every sin of his. Nabi alayhi salatu wasalam said, there was one man, you heard this story many times from me. He killed 99 people. 99 murders. He went to Maulvi Sahib and said, Maulvi Sahib, will Allah forgive me? Maulvi Sahib, tere koi khair nahi. Mujhe janmi. No good for you. He said, then no problem, I'll kill you too. Mere 100. ठीक है. Now he's killed 100 people. He's gone to another Imam Sahib or a rabbi, because he was a Jewish man. Will Allah forgive me? He said, Allah will forgive you. But you have to go to so and so place and do tawbah. On the way there, he died. Didn't do tawbah. Didn't repent to Allah. He died. When he died, angels began to debate. Angels debated and said, he's going to hell. Others were saying he's going to heaven. They were debating one another. The debate came to Allah Almighty, and Allah Almighty decided that to settle this argument between the angels, they should go and measure the land. If he is closer to the last murder, he will be punished. If he is closer to the forgiveness, then he'll be forgiven. Now he had died closer to the last murder. But Allah Almighty commanded the earth to bring him closer to Rahmah. When Allah commanded him, the earth, the angels went, measured it, they come back and they said, Ya Allah, he's closer to your Rahmah. Allah Almighty said, if he's closer to my mercy, then I've forgiven him. He didn't do tawbah. What did he have? Intention to change. Brothers and sisters, it all begins with intention to change. You sit here, intend to change. Whether you change or not, that's another story. But make the intention in your heart, you want to change your ways. If you earn bad, you earn good. If you do bad, you do good. If you look at bad, you look at good. If you listen to bad, you listen to good. You swap it. It's a hard test. It's difficult. It's not 2 days. Now you're all buzzed up, psyched up, gonna do zikr, gonna listen to nasheed. You're on it. When you walk out of there, you probably go home and switch on Sky News and look at Russia's lights and this light and that light and that light, this firework and that firework. I just heard a firework. Did you hear fireworks? Fireworks. Look, it's all gone off out there. How much money are they spending on that? And millions are dying in the world. How lost has the world got just to satisfy the egos? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us true iman in our hearts. Ameen. Love of Rasulullah alayhi salatu wassalam. Allah forgive us all for our major and minor sins. وأقول قولي هذا أستغفر الله لي ولكم وآخر دعوانا أن الحمد لله رب العالمين.